IDS 315. Welcome to Module 3. It's Monday, Memorial Day, May 30th. It's about 10:25 a.m. here in lovely Phoenix, and let's get right going here. Module 3 goes to Sunday, June 6th. The discussion board work. It was interesting, that work cannot be understood only in economic terms. Isn't that the truth, though, right? Um, you know, when I got this job out of my 40 jobs that I have had, um, this was the proverbial gold mine, and it wasn't for economic reasons. It integrated well with my life, with meaning, finances, took on way more than economic outlook. In fact, the economics have gotten much, much worse. Really recently lost up to 30% of income because of certain things that have gone on, can't stop. So it's kind of like, if you were law enforcement, which I was, and, you make X amount of dollars per hour typically, and then you get a lot of overtime. Overtime is just overtime, chef's kiss, right? Those of you that have access, understand that. If you got your overtime taken away, you'd be going, oh man. So it's kind of like for an instructor, I get a salary and then get summer classes, that's extra over the salary. Then you get these overload classes, one every semester, that's extra. But they got taken away at this point. We're not going to have overload. So that's basically a 9% hit there, 9%, that's 18%. And if you lose two summer classes, you're talking about 36% less salary than you think. And so it becomes an economic burden. However, it doesn't change how I feel about the job and the work, right? Because it's more than economics. The way I have to look at it is to redo my budget, which is which I have the greatest budget in the world, just so you know. Okay, it took me a long time to get it there, but I've had it for years, and you can't hardly see it, but just look, it's colors. It goes month to month, and I've got another one goes week to day, week to week, um, and it goes all the way till the end of 2025 because I get Social Security at the beginning of 2025. So kind of like I was just cruising along here, getting to Social Security when I get a giant raise, I can keep my job. But this happened, and it changes things. It makes me kind of semi-retired now because I'll be doing the work level that I thought I'd be doing when I was 66 and 8 months. Um, Again, I want to get this. Again, I'm talking about me, but I'm giving you an example of, for me, why work is defined more than economic, right? Even though when you're younger, I think there's a twofold double-edged sword there. When you're younger, you can probably take more chances and, your expenses are going to be less. But when you're younger, you do want to make some money. You want some cash. You want to get started, right, on your lifestyle. So it's an interesting concept to consider that work cannot be understood only in economic terms, okay? Because look, one of my first jobs out of high school was working for Miller Brewing Company, and I worked a 12-hour shift, 6 at night till 6 in the morning. So picture that, 6 at night till 6 in the morning, and I worked every other Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and every other Wednesday. Okay, the pay was phenomenal for factory work for an 18-year-old kid out of high school. But consider how much you'd like to work 6 at night till 6 in the morning on Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights. Basically wipes out your social life. You have none. You might have a better paycheck than your friends, but you got no social life. And so I quit. I quit that job after a year. I went down for spring break to Daytona Beach, having a good time. I said, screw this. I went back, gave him my notice. My dad stopped speaking to me for 6 months because he didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I'm the oldest kid. He got me a job at Miller Brewing Company. What else I got to do? I think it was the first time I heard him drop an F-bomb, too. Anyways, somebody mentioned that in their discussion, 12-hour days, 3 or 4 times per week is a now is a doable schedule for many people. Then you've got people that work multiple part-time jobs. They're in this class or they haven't before, multiple part-time jobs. Work is a different meaning to them. And then you got the straight 9 to 5. And thank you for posting the video of that 9 to 5. I think that was Katie, wasn't it? Shout out. I don't want to get this wrong. Let's see. Time out. Yes, it was. Okay. Very cool. And by the way, the falling down, what a film that was. Anyhow, the definition of work, even in the past, like I said, going back to 76, 77, when I had that weird job, factory job, has always been a fluid type of thing, a change depending on the needs of the community, society, product, business. Okay. And somebody mentioned the benefits, I can't remember if it was, yeah. I mean, free gym memberships at some places at work, right? It's like saves you $60 a month. Then there's this interesting thing I spotted. I heard it on a commercial. Somebody was like interviewing for a job, and they said, so do you work human? The guy was like, what are you talking about? No, do you work human? Do you, I don't know, and this, work human, okay? It's actually an interesting idea, business type of thing where I was curious about that. At the end of the commercial, the interviewer was like, do you got any openings by you? But let's look at Wikipedia Work Human. I just like it because it's a multinational company co-headquartered in Framingham, Massachusetts and Dublin, providing cloud-based services, human capital management software solutions. Its social recognition solutions are designed for employees to recognize and reward each other. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. I'll include the links to that in the announcement. Just a type of different thing that we don't see, right? By the way, when you're writing these out, discussion boards, essays, as I said, maybe it was the other video, but I'm trying to make sure I can avoid the royal we. Avoid the royal we. We are quite pleased at the breakfast today. No, it's just you. If you got to use I, use I. If you're using we, it should be literally about us, we, whoever, right? Grammar, just be careful. Reread it. There's a grammar and spell check. I can tell right away if somebody's just blasting something down and throwing it up there. If you got one blob of a discussion board or essay or anything, and there were more than one prompt, even if there aren't, you write in paragraph forms. Consider your organization, your formatting, your content together, right? In your responses, some of them are quite involved and deep. I love it. Some of them are very superficial. Be careful. I don't grade on a curve, but if you do an average job on responses or the main post, shouldn't you get the average score? Average is C. C is 70%, right? If you do above average and superior, that's where you get up to those 80 to 90%. Be careful. This isn't about, and by the way, when I get into this, maybe I didn't mention this, why I do not use rubrics, okay? Yes, my colleagues, bosses, everybody, they kind of get ticked. I kind of lay under the radar. But here's why, okay? Rubrics, they give you everything you need in this checklist society. I mean, I've got a checklist constantly every day. I mean, here's one of my to-do lists. This goes all the way through July and August. I mean, I'm not making a move without consulting this thing. So I check things off and I'm done, right? I don't want learning to be a checklist and then you're done. So what, in my opinion, rubrics are a ceiling. Once you get to that ceiling and check everything off, you're done. I want you to be without a ceiling and do what you can do. Show me what you got. Some people put master's level work out. It's pretty fascinating, but I want to give them that opportunity. Okay, that's why there's no rubric. I don't grade on a curve, but I want you to surpass your own ceiling. Okay, If you do the minimum to get by, well, that's what you do. It happens, I mean, my one son here just got hired at the Tempe Museum, by the way. I am so proud. Part-time job if you're going to grad school in the fall. Tempe Historical Museum loves it. He's working his grunt work at the bookstore. He's going to quit that now. Um, 4.2 GPA, Barrett Honors College, Dean lists 5 semesters, graduated a half a year early, blah, blah, blah. Phenomenal. My oldest son, 30 years old, graduated from Cronkite, probably a B average, maybe a C plus to B. Um, very happy what he's doing. He's writing for PC Mag, I believe, or gamer.com, something like that. He's writing for them. He's working as a call coach with a promotion at Freedom Financial, and I'm really, really proud of both of them. They've done it different ways. My oldest son will say, Dad, I wasn't showing off. I wasn't falling behind. I was in a meaty part of the curve. That's from Seinfeld. My oldest son is just, he's a different kind of cat. I fall in the middle. Okay. I fall between them. So, anyways, you do what you got to do. Okay. Um, all emails need to be sent on ASU email and include the class, include IDS 315. You can email me right from Canvas and it'll have the class on there. That's cool. Okay. So, that's Easter egg number. I didn't fill in the Easter eggs here. There's Easter egg number 2. There's Easter egg number 3. So what's wrong with Easter egg number 1? Where is it? Easter egg number 1. Let's just go with use ASU email. Use ASU email. Okay. Now, you've got a reading coming up, Module 3, 17 pages on a PDF, all right? It's the McDonaldization of culture or business or whatever. It's pretty cool. Read it, be really close, okay? So why has the McDonald's model proven so irresistible? 4 alluring dimensions lie at the heart of the success of this model, and more generally of McDonaldization. In short, McDonald's has succeeded because it offers consumers, workers, and managers 4 things: efficiency, calculability, predictability, and control. Okay. First, McDonald's offers efficiency, or the optimum method for getting from one point to another. For consumers, this means that McDonald's offers the best available way to get from being hungry to being full. Others offer similar efficiency in losing weight, lubricating cars, getting new glasses or contacts, or completing income tax forms. We know who these places are. But think about that, the McDonaldizations, what they're getting here. Secondly, McDonald's offers calculability, or an emphasis on the quantitative approach aspects of products sold: portion, size, cost, and service offered, okay, the time it takes to get the product. Quantity has become equivalent to quality. A lot of something, or the quick delivery of it, means it must be good. American culture, put it, as a culture, we tend to believe deeply that in general, bigger is better. Domino's Pizza, delivery in a half hour, etc. So understand that, right? Waiting around we don't like that, especially in American culture. And American culture, notice the portion sizes. I went to this place called the Claim Jumper. Get away from there. I finally got rid of the birds and I cleaned up my whole balcony. Get away. Yeah, sorry. I'm not allowing them back. This place called Claim Jumper, and the portions were gargantuan. I'm like, what is this? Well, it's an American restaurant. And then I was in Italy and France and everything, and it's a whole different story. You know that if you buy clothes and see European sizes compared to American sizes, in U.S., bigger is better, right? So quantifiable means you can count it. Quantity, it's countable. Qualitative research and qualitative talking about means you're talking about the quality. It's more of an ambiguous thing, but there are certain measurement tools. Quantify is the quantity. It's measurable, and you can do that, okay? So we know a quarter pounder is a quarter pound. We know a large fry is a large fry, extra large, extra large. Everything's quantifiable, okay? Third, McDonald's offers predictability. the assurance that their products and services will be the same over time in all locales. I was sitting at the airport in Lisbon, waiting to fly back to New Jersey, and I was like, I've been in Europe for 2 months. There's a McDonald's in the airport. I know what I'm getting. I know what it's going to taste like. I know what I'm going to get back to my American roots, even though I have McDonald's once a year tops, if that, because I always regret it. But I know it because I could, it was predictable, right? There's great comfort knowing that McDonald's offers no surprises. McDonaldized organizations often have scripts that employees are supposed to memorize and follow whenever the occasion arises. This scripted behavior helps create highly predictable interactions between workers and customers. Okay, fourth, control, especially through substitution of non-human for human technology. It's exerted over the people who enter the world of McDonald's. The people who eat in fast food restaurants are controlled, albeit usually subtly. Lines, limited menus, few options, uncomfortable seats all lead to diners to do what management wishes them to do: eat quickly and get out of there. Further, the drive-through, in some cases walk-through window, leads diners to leave before they eat. You notice that McDonald's works on efficiency. Now you can order from the kiosk, you do this, get in, get out. And then they had those play areas before COVID. I laughed at the gym a couple of days ago, and Planet Fitness offering like teenagers to come now in the summer for free and stuff like that with their parents or whatever. I don't know. But I know it's a group of 4 teenagers on the treadmill behind me, and they were just giggling and having a good time. It was like 3 gals and a guy, and they were dropping stuff, and making noise. And it was like, this is so weird. And then they went over by the crunch thing that I always use, and I was like waiting for this dude, and he was like, I was like, dude, man, you just don't know what you're doing. You look like we're 17, and it's getting irritated. He was sticking a bunch of weights on it that he couldn't handle, and I never use any weights for this thing. And the gal next to him was not using the weights, and she was doing it right. She seemed much more respectable. The other guy was like, so you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of McDonald's play area. This isn't a McDonald's play area. You're at the gym. It was just, I thought of that right away. Okay. All right. So now we have, by the way, the rational systems inevitably spawn irrationalities. Remember that. Okay. Now think about this next concept too. It's kind of the opposite in a way. The process is called sneakerization. Sneakerization. That's where you can it's a metaphor for getting a specific kind of sneaker you want. Tennis shoes, sneakers, hiking boots, whatever you want to call them, for aerobics, for walking, for running, for bicycle, for basketball. There's all these specializations for sneakerization type of thing, and a lot of things. You can do that now this is so old, okay? 100 types of Walkman. Do you even know what a Walkman is, you guys? 3,000 kinds of Seiko watches. Seiko watches. 800 models of Philips color television. I think all of those are gone now. Okay, so that's how old this is. But anyways, you get the point, all right? But you notice how it started with Adidas or Nike. You could go online and customize your own shoe, or just go into, Dick's Sporting Goods, get your special shoe, whatever. Okay, a similar issue concerns a number of Marxist thinkers who claim that industry has undergone transition from Fordism to post-Fordism. Fordism already is it's ideas spawned by Henry Ford, and it has to do more like homogeneous products, assembly line. I worked one of those, my job at Miller Brewing Company. Okay, so then they're talking about how Starbucks, many of you are baristas. Okay, it clearly sells at high prices, high quality coffee. It has been able to McDonaldize the coffee business without sacrificing quality. This person says, I think their secret is that they deal with a very simple product, coffee, to which they do little, brew it, or nothing, sell bags of the beans. Okay, so it's an interesting contrast, sneakerization, McDonaldization, talking about postmodern society, modern society. McDonaldized systems generally lack a sense of history. Okay. Although you do see McDonald's from 1950s. I took some notes here, but I'm going to keep going. All right. So now, did I do Easter egg number 2 yet? No. Wow. All right. Let's try to get to that right now. Easter egg number 2 is self-learning is a skill. Self-learning is a skill. You're taking on these online courses. This isn't a classroom we're in. I'm just trying to be more personable here and emphasize certain things, discuss certain things with you in a one-way kind of communication. So take me out of the mix too, and you've got to kind of navigate this by yourself. You work in a chronological manner, and you assess your self-learning is a skill requires a lot of different other skills to be able to be a self-starter, to be able to follow instructions, to be able to read, to take the time out, right? Those things. All right. So then you get into a TED Talk, 11 and a half minutes. Patty McCord, 2015. Now, there's no CC closed caption on either of these videos, unfortunately, but she's talking about lessons from the startup world, Silicon Valley. She's talking about the world of modern day work, pay equality. Somebody asked, how does a woman ask for a raise? Well, her emphasis too is to leave a company. Just go and find a place where you're paid what you want, because it's not the 1950s anymore. There are complex compensation packages. If you're paid 20% lower than what you're worth, you'll never catch up. Get out. Okay, it's your career. Own it. All right. If you expect mediocrity, that's what you're going to get. Okay. TED Talk number 2 is 12 and a half minutes by Patrick Forth from 2014. The previous one was 2015. So these are a little bit, older in terms of what they talk about, especially Patrick Forth, who's predicting some things, and he's predicting all the way into the future of 2017 and 2020. Okay, so how can companies continue to thrive in times of change? There's an irresistible force and an immovable object. So what's the irresistible force? Technology disruption. What's the immovable object? In his opinion, the change monster. Okay, disruption, also digital disruption, is radical change to an existing industry or market due to technological advances. Newspaper business. Okay, wow, did that go through the technology disruption? I used to be in the newspaper business as a paper boy, as a district manager, as a journalist. I used to sit back with my buddies and read the Sunday paper at the buffets. Said I could never read paper off the internet. Now, if I see a newspaper, it's like I'm in a museum, right? Okay, so very interesting to listen to this, make some notes about how you can see things in your observation skills as an interdisciplinarian, okay? There's a lot of things that I took notes on that I won't get into too much here, but it's very interesting. Be sure you're listening to this, all right? Then we got a discussion board. Think of a business, try not to be dining related, talk about McDonaldization, okay? Number 2, consider the concept of sneakerization. Number 3, compare the two. Okay, so there's 3 separate prompts. I'd like to give me 3 separate answers, 3 separate paragraphs, multiple paragraphs in each prompt. I don't care, but I want to know where one starts, next one starts, right? Then you got a quiz worth 5 and 6 points. There's only, 8 questions this time. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little tip on one of them here if I can. That's the module 3 quiz, right? Wait a second. My IDS 315, module 3 quiz. Nobody took it yet. My other class, they're working so far ahead, it's ridiculous. Okay, so the one that I saw here, according to Bell, today the U.S. economy is a what economy? Dominated by what and what? According to Bell. Think about that as you're watching these things you're reading. According to Bell, today the U.S. economy is a blank economy, dominated by blank and blank, okay? That's just an important point I wanted to bring up to you. For the essay, let me just look at the quiz right away. Yeah, it's 7 questions. and they're all worth 6 points except for 2 of them. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So you got 40 points, 7 questions, and you have 40 minutes. Okay, you'll kill it. All right, so the essay, think, 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 think. That's my key there, think. For up to 50 points, use the 4 elements of Ritzer's McDonaldization of society. Describe one encounter you've had. I get just getting spam texted. And then critique it. APA formatting, minimum 500 words. You can follow instructions. I'm not going to go over these things. So Word doc only, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double line spacing, paragraph indents. If there's different sections of questions to answer, then you make them clearly subsections, okay? All right, 26 minutes. Easter egg number 3. This sounds generic, but I'm going to yawn. Wow, what a way to go out. Okay, Easter egg number 3 is take the time to think before writing. Take the time to think. Try not just blast through it, I can tell. All right, that'll do it for me. Have a great rest of the weekend. Forks up.